action. Oh, God.
Welcome back to Coming This Summer. Welcome back to Cinema Guys. I haven't done one of these in a while.
I just glanced down at the name, and I'm already out. I'm so fucking out, dude. It's like new Lord of the Rings movie, but I'm not going to tell you the subtitle until we start recording.
Oh, we should have done the, what's the title?
I would never.
You would never got it.
That shit. Are you kidding me?
Jay Martin, Ryan Sharp.
Oh, my God.
Let's get right into this.
Please, God, no. Please tell me this isn't a thing.
Warner Brothers is doing now what Paramount and Sony are doing, and they're like, what do we have in the IP closet?
Now? What do you mean are doing?
Really, like,
oh, true.
I mean, like Garfield's coming back. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Ghostbusters.
True.
We're getting a lot of 80s.
Yeah, Mad Max. Yeah, Jesus Christ. We just need Back to the Future 4, and then we're
don't even
completely
say it. So Warner Brothers announced, there's been rumors for like a year that this was going to happen, and people are like, they're not going to do any more Lord of the Rings because they're not going to do that. Because why would they touch masterpieces? Because they've already done that. People didn't really like the Hobbits as much as they like Lord of the Rings. It was successful, but nowhere near the level compared.
Yeah.
The third one everybody hates. The first two are still pretty decently.
Right. Yeah.
They didn't need 3 movies. That was 1 movie. Cut into 3.
Oh, yeah. God, yeah.
Because they announced 1, and then he's like, I'm going to make it 2. And everyone's like, okay, that makes sense. And then they're like, let's make it 3.
And then 2 ends, and then it's like cut off when the good part happens.
Yeah, because they wanted to stretch
with the action scene that should have been the climax of 2. What the fuck are you doing? Now we get Lord of the Rings, The Hunt for Gollum,
which was a fan film that they got permission to make years ago. People did. Like, as long as they didn't make any money, they put it on YouTube. Now they had to take it down. They got it put back up because they were like, we're not making any money. But they're literally like pulling from what people have already done.
But he dies. But he dies at the end of Lord of the Rings because he jumps into the fire after the ring, and he literally dies at the end. So what do you mean The Hunt for Gollum? We already showed him in The Hobbit before. Now we put him in Lord of the Rings.
That's what. Are we gonna get sometime in between the Hobbit? Are they gonna keep doing that thing where they slice it? Like what happened in this 20 minutes before Bilbo walks over to the? You know what I mean? You start like, what do you mean,
bro?
So
I don't think you can make anything more iconic than what is taters or whatever the fuck he says in the potatoes. Oh, boil, mash them, stick them in a stew. I love Lord of the Rings.
So this is literally going to be stuff. This is going to be original stuff. So that's a problem.
Stop.
We have Red Flag City. The only positive that's happening that I've seen is they're getting a lot of the original people that made Lord of the Rings.
I did see Andy
the writers.
Serkis name, Peter
Andy
Jackson.
Serkis is going to direct it. Peter Jackson's going to produce the entire thing,
which gives me hope. But
so it should at least be decent. But do we need there's so much. Don't they have that whole Lord of the Rings like encyclopedia of
the Silmarillion? Yeah.
Why are we getting never before? Why, no, go. They
We
have
have this whole lore book to fucking pull from. God damn it,
I
dude.
hate that. Like, why even have the book?
And this, you didn't learn? They released a Gollum video game that was like the worst rated game of 2023. Like,
it's almost
the worst, or 22 or whatever.
No, it was last year, you're right. But it's almost like, why didn't they give more money to that game knowing that that was probably because they knew they were going to announce this by this year? So that came out at Christmas time.
So is it just going to be that game, but like made into a movie? Like, I don't know the
they
plot
say
of the video game.
The stages are early in script, but the movie's supposed to come out December of
26.
26.
Oh, dude. I appreciate.
We're getting an
Lord of the Rings
animated
coming
one
back.
this Christmas.
Oh, we are?
Mm-hmm. Lord of the Rings, the Middle Earth,
Oh,
the war for Rohirrim,
Rohirrim, the Knights of Rohan.
It's set 200 years before The Hobbit, and it counts. It's canonical to what we've already
it's probably
watched.
pulling from the Silmarillion. Yeah, and an actual
Weird
battle that happened. Fuck off, dude. Okay, not fuck off, but like, if you're gonna do Lord of the Rings, do it right. All right. We're getting 4K
We've talked about this
re-releases of these
before.
movies,
When
like,
you go to an IP, you better bring the
better
guns,
fucking
man.
bring
There's
it.
a poll. Check out on here. We have a poll. Tell us what you think. A lot of people are excited.
The Hunt for Gollum doesn't sound like it's gonna be bringing it.
That's not a great
You know
name.
what I mean? It's not a great name.
I don't disagree with you.
They're not great at naming things. Lord of the Rings of Power. I present as Exhibit B. That show was kind of meh, even though they sunk like $1 billion into each episode. Like, it was I didn't finish it. You know, I've heard good things. We're probably getting a season 2.
Yeah, we're getting a season 2. Yeah. Yeah, but see, like again, you're going back and you're cutting into time. Oh, this takes place before the Hobbit. Now you're gonna start doing all this weird. Yeah, but we know what happens.
He dies.
We watch what happens.
Well,
he's in the video games. He's in the like, we already know the conclusion of that
Shadow
story.
War and Shadow Mordor.
Right,
like,
and they make all of this canonical, so we already it's already been approached from like 9 different.
Give me that movie.
I would take Shadow of War 1,000 times over
that
this.
movie.
That would 1,000 times.
Which we didn't talk about in the Apes review, but I thought about that video game so much when I was watching Planet of the Fucking Apes.
I can see that.
So fucking much. Down to like his generals and like you have to fight him at the end being
Planet of the Apes
Sauron.
is that would be pretty cool.
I want a Planet of the Apes video game like Shadow of War. I'm like, fuck,
that would be
please,
awesome.
Dude. Holy crap, please. Those are great video games that should be adapted into movies.
No,
into live
I would
action
take
movies.
that. Those two games are awesome. The story alone is...
They're great, yeah.
This is allegedly the start of a trilogy, too.
See, that's what I was going to ask, too. This doesn't sound like it could start a trilogy. Hunt for Gollum.
I'm sure if it makes money, and of course it is. Even if it's a terrible movie, people are going to come out of pure curiosity to propel this to at least bankability. So
yeah, I'm curious for sure. I don't think it'll be good, but I'm curious. With the creative
there's at least
people in control
foundation
of it,
there, so we'll see. But again, I mean, like,
yeah,
a new IP. Maybe put your brains together and make a new sci-fi IP.
Yeah, fantasy.
Or so fantasy, you know what I mean?
Fantasy's like pretty much over with. Like I feel like that's fallen out.
Either Lord of the Rings or Dungeons and Dragons.
Or Game of Thrones.
Right, which is basically Dungeons and Dragons. Let's just be real. It really is. It's just Dungeons and Dragons.
It's all Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, and that Chris Pine movie didn't do well, so. Ooh.
And I mean that at the beginning. I said at the beginning, the weakest part of the movie is Jerry Seinfeld because sometimes he has to work some Jerry Seinfeld bits in. What's the deal with that? I don't need that. I'm here. I'm watching. I'm laughing. Don't.
I don't need your Jerry Seinfeld.
I don't. Yeah.
I don't need the Seinfeld.
You're the weakest one in the movie. You're surrounded by superstars.
Unless fucking Jason Alexander, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and Michael Richards or whatever is gonna show up in this fucking movie, don't. And I'm surprised they didn't.
I'm actually
like at
least Jason Alexander.
Out of the entire stacked cast, I'm surprised none of them made it in.
I wonder if they didn't want to.